The cold, sterile lights of the Research Institute flickered overhead as Dr. Kim Yeon-ji scrolled through her holographic data. Her fingers, slender and precise, traced the digital records of human military history. Outside the window, distant stars twinkled, indifferent to the academic debate brewing inside. She had dedicated her entire career to understanding human warfare myths. Most of her colleagues laughed, called her research a waste of time. Aliens. Across the galaxy shared stories about humans, tales so incredible they seemed like children's fantasies. Warriors who could fight beyond logical limits, soldiers who transformed impossible situations into victory. Dr. Park Sung-ho, her primary research partner, walked into the room. His skeptical eyes scanned her digital projections. "These human stories are nothing more than propaganda," he said, sipping hot tea. "No species could be this remarkable." Yeonji remained silent. Something about these stories felt different. She had read thousands of historical records, watched countless video documentaries, analyzed military strategies from every known civilization, but human records stood out. Unique, complex, almost magical. Her latest research focused on a particular set of myths. Stories about soldiers who continued fighting despite impossible injuries, teams that achieved missions considered mathematically improbable, individuals who transformed battlefield dynamics through sheer willpower. The computer displayed images of human soldiers from various conflicts: World War II, Vietnam, Middle Eastern campaigns, Afghanistan. Each photograph told a story beyond mere combat. There was something in their eyes, a determination that transcended physical limitations. "I'm going to Earth," she announced suddenly. Dr. Park nearly dropped his tea. "Excuse me?" "I'm taking a research expedition. These myths need direct investigation." Her supervisor tried arguing. Funding was limited. Travel permissions were complicated. The Kelrian Confederation had strict research protocols. But Yeonji's reputation as a meticulous researcher worked in her favor. She began preparing her equipment. Translation devices, advanced recording instruments, compact biological protection gear. Each item was carefully selected to ensure minimal interference with human environments while maximizing research potential. The university committee reviewed her proposal. Days of discussions, heated debates, skeptical looks. But her comprehensive research methodology impressed them. They approved her expedition with strict conditions. "You have 6 standard Earth months," the research director warned. "Prove these human warrior myths are either true or false." Yeonji knew this was more than a research expedition. This was her chance to challenge everything her civilization believed about human capabilities. Her personal database contained thousands of stories. Soldiers carrying wounded teammates through active combat zones. Individuals surviving extreme environmental conditions. Military units completing missions with limited resources. Each story seemed impossible, yet documented evidence existed. She packed her personal research journal, a traditional leather-bound book she preferred over digital records. Her colleagues found this habit quaint, but she believed physical documentation carried a different energy. The night before her departure, she reviewed her primary research questions. Are human warrior stories factual or mythological? What psychological factors contribute to their reported extraordinary capabilities? Can their combat strategies be scientifically analyzed and understood? Her small apartment was filled with research materials, photographs, historic battle maps, military strategy documents. Each item represented years of careful collection and analysis. As she prepared her final equipment check, a subtle excitement ran through her body. Something told her this expedition would change everything she understood about warfare, humanity, and the nature of courage. The Kelrian research vessel would depart in 12 standard hours. Earth awaited, a planet full of mysteries, waiting to reveal its secrets to a curious alien researcher who dared to look beyond conventional understanding. Dr. Kim Yeon-ji smiled. Her journey was about to begin. The wheels of the rental car crunched against the gravel parking lot of the military museum. Dr. Kim Yeon-ji adjusted her translation device, taking a deep breath before entering. Her research permit was tucked carefully in her jacket pocket, a testament to months of bureaucratic negotiations. The museum was quiet. Display cases filled with uniforms, weapons, and faded photographs told silent stories. She moved slowly, carefully observing every detail. An elderly security guard watched her with curious eyes. Her first interview was scheduled with Michael Rodriguez, a retired Marine with decades of combat experience. The meeting place was a small cafe near the museum, chosen deliberately to create a neutral, comfortable environment. Rodriguez arrived precisely on time. He was older, with weathered hands and eyes that seemed to look through things rather than at them. Yeon-ji noticed how he scanned the entire cafe before sitting down, a habit born from years of military training. "So," he said, stirring his black coffee, "you want to understand human warriors?" Yeon-ji activated her recording device. "I want to understand the truth behind the stories." Rodriguez laughed. It was a sound that carried weight. Not a light laugh, but something deeper. "Truth is complicated," he said. "We don't fight because we want to. We fight to protect what matters." Throughout the interview, Yeon-ji discovered something unexpected. These weren't just stories of combat. They were stories of humanity. Rodriguez spoke about his team members, about moments of sacrifice, about understanding that war was never about individual heroism but collective survival. Her next stop was a veterans support center. Here she interviewed multiple veterans from different conflicts. Each story was unique, yet they shared common threads. Resilience, teamwork, a sense of purpose that went beyond personal survival. A Vietnam War veteran named David spoke about a mission where his team saved an entire village despite being outnumbered. "We weren't heroes," he said. "We were just doing what needed to be done." Yeon-ji's research database grew. Each interview challenged her previous understanding. These weren't mythological figures. These were real people who had transformed extraordinary circumstances into moments of profound human connection. She visited military museums across 3 states. Each exhibit told a different story. World War II displays showed technological innovation. Vietnam War sections revealed complex psychological challenges. Modern military exhibits demonstrated technological integration with human strategy. Her translator device worked overtime. Technical military terms, emotional narratives, historical context, all required precise translation and interpretation. One afternoon, while reviewing her notes in a local library, she discovered something fascinating. Human military history wasn't just about combat, it was about adaptation. Every conflict showed how humans rapidly adjusted their strategies, learned from mistakes, and transformed challenges into opportunities. A librarian noticed her intense concentration. "Researching military history?" she asked. "Trying to understand?" "Human warriors," Yeon-ji responded. The librarian smiled. "They're not just warriors, they're people with extraordinary capabilities." Those words resonated deeply with Yeon-ji's research. Her final interview was with a military historian at a local university. Professor Elizabeth Johnson was skeptical, but intrigued by Yeon-ji's research approach. "Most alien researchers see humans as primitive," Johnson said, "but we're complex. Our warfare reflects our complexity." Each interaction added layers to Yeon-ji's understanding. These weren't simple warrior myths. These were sophisticated narratives of human potential, resilience, and collective survival. As the sun set on her 3rd week of research, Yeon-ji realized something profound. She wasn't just collecting data. She was witnessing a deeper truth about human nature, a truth that transcended simple scientific classification. Her research was no longer about proving or disproving myths. It was about understanding a species that could transform limitations into extraordinary capabilities. The real investigation was just beginning. The ocean was calm that morning. Soft waves lapped against the rocky California coastline, creating a peaceful rhythm that masked the approaching danger. Dr. Kim Yeon-ji was collecting research notes when the first alien ship appeared. It happened quickly. A massive shadow crossed the sky, silent and menacing. Most people on the beach didn't notice immediately, but Yeonji recognized the technological signature instantly. These were not human vessels. Alien reconnaissance ships, sleek, dark, technologically advanced beyond anything humans had publicly demonstrated. Within moments, military communication channels erupted. Yeonji's research equipment picked up rapid, precise communication signals. No panic, no confusion, just immediate, calculated response. The first human military units arrived with remarkable speed. Special forces teams moved like liquid metal, their coordination almost telepathic. Yeonji watched in fascination as they positioned themselves with mathematical precision. A young military commander named David Kim spoke into his communication device. His voice was calm, almost casual, despite the extraordinary circumstances. Situation confirmed. Preparing defensive formation. Military bases along the Pacific coastline activated simultaneously. It was like watching a complex organism respond to a threat, each component knowing exactly what to do without explicit instruction. The alien ships began their initial probing attack. Energy weapons that could destroy conventional military equipment in seconds. But the human response was anything but conventional. Ground units used terrain intelligently. Air support arrived within minutes. Naval vessels repositioned with strategic brilliance. Yeonji realized she was witnessing something beyond simple military engagement. This was a dance of survival. The aliens clearly expected an easy confrontation. Their technology was advanced. Their weapons were devastating. But they had miscalculated one critical factor: human adaptability. Yeonji's research equipment captured everything: communication patterns, strategic movements, psychological responses. Each moment was a revelation. Human soldiers didn't just fight. They anticipated. They transformed battlefield conditions. Where technology failed, human creativity succeeded. A special operations team used an unconventional strategy. They didn't just defend. They created confusion, electronic countermeasures, tactical misdirection. The alien ships suddenly found themselves struggling against an opponent they couldn't predict. David Kim's team moved between technological intervention and direct combat with seamless efficiency. One moment they were jamming alien communication signals. The next they were executing precise physical interventions. The battle lasted hours, but it felt like minutes. Yeonji watched as humans transformed what should have been a catastrophic invasion into a demonstration of collective human potential. No individual was a hero. The entire response was a heroic system. Military units from different branches worked together: Air Force, Navy, Ground Forces, Special Operations. Each component understood its role perfectly. The alien ships began retreating. Their technological superiority crumbled against human adaptability. As the final alien vessel disappeared, something remarkable happened. The human military units didn't celebrate. They immediately began assessing damage, providing medical support, ensuring civilian safety. David Kim approached Yeonji. "Interesting research?" he asked, his voice carrying a hint of understanding. She realized he knew exactly who she was. An alien researcher studying human capabilities. "More than interesting," she responded. "Revolutionary." The military base buzzed with activity, but there was no chaos, just precise, organized response. Yeonji's research had transformed. These weren't myths. These were living, breathing examples of human potential. The sun began setting. Military cleanup crews worked efficiently. And in the distance, the ocean continued its peaceful rhythm, as if nothing extraordinary had happened. But everything had changed. The military base was unlike anything Yeonji had imagined. Concrete walls, controlled environments. But something else existed here, a spirit that couldn't be measured by scientific instruments. Sergeant David Kim watched her carefully. He knew she was different. An alien researcher embedded within their most secure facility. Her research credentials gave her limited access, but her curiosity gave her something more: a genuine desire to understand. "We don't just train," he explained during their first operational briefing. "We become a single unit, one organism with multiple parts." Yonji observed their training. It wasn't about individual strength, it was about collective capability. Each soldier moved with an understanding that went beyond personal survival. They protected each other. They anticipated each other's movements. One morning, a specialized training exercise began. Simulated combat scenario, complex terrain, multiple threat levels. Yonji watched from a secured observation room. The team moved like water, flowing, adapting, changing. No single soldier was more important than the mission. No individual ego disrupted collective performance. During a critical moment, a team member was injured in the simulation. Instead of continuing the mission, the entire unit adjusted. They protected their wounded. They carried him. They maintained mission objectives while ensuring team survival. Sergeant Kim noticed Yonji's intense observation. "We have a saying," he told her. "No soldier left behind." Those words carried more weight than simple language. They represented a psychological framework that transformed individual humans into something extraordinary. Yonji's research equipment captured everything: physiological responses, communication patterns, psychological interactions. But numbers couldn't explain the human spirit she was witnessing. One evening, during a casual conversation, David shared a story. Not a war story. A story about teamwork, about understanding human potential. "In our worst moments," he said, "we discover our true strength, not as individuals, but as a collective." The military base became more than a research location for Yonji. It became a living laboratory of human potential. Each interaction challenged her previous scientific understanding. She watched soldiers train, eat, communicate. Their interactions were complex. Layers of communication existed beyond verbal language. A look, a gesture, a subtle movement. Each carried meaning. During a night training exercise, something unexpected happened. A sudden equipment failure created a high-stress scenario. Most scientific models would predict confusion, breakdown, individual survival instincts. But these soldiers did something different. They adapted instantly. No panic, no individual heroics, just precise, collective problem-solving. One soldier's weakness became the team's opportunity to demonstrate strength. Yonji's translator captured conversations, but more importantly, it captured the emotions behind those conversations. Trust, respect, understanding that went beyond individual survival. Sergeant Kim introduced her to veteran support programs. She discovered that military experience wasn't just about combat. It was about personal transformation, about understanding human potential. Veterans spoke about moments of profound connection, about discovering strengths they never knew existed, about transforming personal limitations into collective capabilities. Her research was no longer academic. It had become a living experience. One afternoon, during a quiet moment, David asked her a simple question. "What have you discovered about humans?" Yonji paused. Her answer would be complex. "Humans are not warriors," she said carefully. "Humans are potential given living form." David smiled. He understood exactly what she meant. As the sun set over the military base, Yonji realized something profound. She wasn't just studying a species. She was witnessing the evolution of collective human capability. Her research had transformed, and so had her understanding of what it meant to be human. The mission continued, and with it the endless discovery of human potential. The research archives looked like any other scientific facility: clean, organized, sterile. But Dr. Kim Yonji knew something extraordinary was about to happen. Her research documents sat on the holographic display. Thousands of hours of investigation, hundreds of interviews, multiple combat observations, all compressed into a single comprehensive report. that would change interstellar understanding forever. The Kelrian Confederation's research committee gathered 12 senior researchers, multiple species represented, each expecting another routine, xenoanthropological study. They were wrong. Yunji's presentation began simply. No dramatic gestures, no emotional appeals, just pure, systematic scientific observation. Humans are not warriors, she started. Humans are adaptive evolutionary systems. Her first slide showed the alien reconnaissance invasion. How a seemingly technologically inferior species transformed a potential destruction scenario into a collective survival mechanism. The researchers leaned forward. Something was different about this presentation. She demonstrated how human military units functioned, not as individual fighters, but as living, breathing organizational systems, each member connected through psychological and emotional networks that transcended traditional communication methods. Video evidence showed special forces teams, their movements, their communication, their ability to transform limitations into strengths. Most species fight to conquer, Yonji explained. Humans fight to protect. The fundamental difference changes everything. Her research revealed complex psychological frameworks. Humans didn't just respond to threats, they anticipated. They transformed. They evolved in real time. The committee members began asking questions, challenging her observations, demanding scientific proof. Yonji was prepared. She presented physiological data, communication patterns, strategic adaptations. Each piece of evidence demolished previous alien assumptions about human capabilities. Humans are not a species, she said carefully. Humans are a potential waiting to be understood. Her final segment focused on human psychological resilience, not just in military contexts, but in everyday life. How they transformed personal and collective challenges into opportunities for growth. The room became silent. One senior researcher asked the critical question, can their capabilities be replicated? Yonji's answer was profound. Their strength is not in technology. Their strength is in their collective spirit. That cannot be copied, only understood. Her research document would become a landmark text, not just in military studies, but in understanding evolutionary potential. The committee's final assessment took hours, but the conclusion was unanimous. Her research represented a fundamental shift in interstellar understanding. Humans were not just another species. They were a complex, adaptive system of extraordinary potential. As she left the research facility, Yonji thought about her journey, from skeptical researcher to profound discoverer, from academic distance to genuine respect. Her communication device buzzed. A message from Sergeant David Kim. "Congratulations on your research," she smiled. He understood what this meant. The Kelrian Confederation would never look at humans the same way again. No alien civilization would. Her research had transformed understanding. Humans were not myths. Humans were potential. Humans were extraordinary. The stars outside seemed to understand something had changed. A new chapter in interstellar understanding had begun. And it started with one researcher's willingness to look beyond scientific assumptions, to truly see, to genuinely understand, to recognize potential. The research was complete. The discovery had just begun.